To be sharp. If you're in the office of the presidency, we have to be sharp. So they were saying all these different things. It was going all over. Whichever stuck. None of it stuck, fortunately. But one of the reasons it didn't is that I took a test. I said to the doctor, it was Dr. Ronnie Jackson, I said, is there some kind of a test? An acuity test. And he said there actually is, and he named it, whatever it might be. And it was 30 or 35 questions. The first questions are very easy. The last questions are much more difficult. Like a memory question. It's like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. So they say, could you repeat that? So I said, yeah. So it's person, woman, man, camera, TV. Okay, that's very good. If you get it in order, you get extra points. Okay, now he's asking you other questions. And then 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes later, they say, remember the first question? Not the first, but the 10th question? Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go person, woman, man, camera, TV. If you get it in order, you get extra points. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy. And that's not an easy question. In other words, they ask it to you, they give you 5 names and you have to repeat them. And that's okay. If you repeat them out of order, it's okay, but you know, it's not as good. But then when you go back about 20, 25 minutes later and they say, go back to that question. They don't tell you this. Go back to that question and repeat them. Can you do it? And you go, person, woman, man, camera, TV. They say, that's amazing. How did you do that? I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there. Now, Joe should take that test.
I'm not sure what I just watched, but venturing to guess, this was the President of the United States, the most powerful man on the face of the earth, explaining away for the umpteenth time his results of a test designed to determine if you have dementia or cognitive decline. The test involved identifying basic animals. It involved counting backwards, and then involved remembering the order of simple words like person, woman, man, camera, TV. And Donald Trump went on national television to brag about it. I mean, just look at the guy interviewing him. What do you say when someone is desperately trying to convince you that they are brilliant by describing perhaps the single most simple mental assessment in existence? The fact that the interviewer managed to not laugh is a feat in and of itself. I mean, not as impressive a feat as identifying an elephant, but still. You would think if you're Donald Trump that after having embarrassed yourself just one time by bragging about the results of a cognitive test that just about anyone over the age of 6 can ace, you would try to never do that again. And yet here we are, diving yet again into the results of Trump's mental assessment on national television. Because nothing quite brings home the point that you're sharp as a tack as bragging about being able to count down from 100. The worst part, and trust me, I know that's no easy feat, is that this is all being done to try and paint Joe Biden in a negative light. Could you imagine doing what Trump is doing on an almost daily basis by bragging about this test and thinking that it's doing damage to your opponent? Trump is hell-bent on trying to prove that Biden is in cognitive decline, and yet his strategy to try and prove that is going on and on about getting an A+ on a test that not getting an A+ on would mean he may have dementia. Yeah, that'll show Joe Biden. The fact is that we don't need to watch Trump count backwards to judge his cognitive capabilities. Whether he's in decline or not, we already know full well how frighteningly lacking his judgment is. You want an indication of Trump's cognitive ability? Consider the fact that he pretended a global pandemic wasn't real because he thought it might help him politically. He stood in front of the nation and suggested injecting disinfectant as a cure. He tried to hold a rally in the middle of the worst point of the outbreak. He tried to nuke a hurricane. He stared directly into a solar eclipse. He tried to alter the path of a hurricane with a Sharpie. Do I need to keep going? Meanwhile, Biden's doing exactly what he should be doing, which is, at a bare minimum, not bragging about how amazing his brain is. Already he's doing better than Trump. But beyond that, He's laying out his agenda, he's taking into account the full spectrum of the Democratic Party, he's laying out plans regarding immigration, climate change, healthcare, the economy, and criminal justice. He's being forthright with not only acknowledging the reality of this pandemic, but actually containing it. He's surrounding himself with experts instead of unqualified yes men and family members. That is how you prove to people that you've got mental acuity, not by stammering on for more than 2 straight minutes about how you can remember 5 simple words. And look, I'm not a psychologist and I'm not going to pretend to be one. But the one thing I can tell you is that if you're the guy showing up on national television meandering on about passing perhaps the most basic test known to man, that's not exactly proof that you're
cognitively there.
And don't forget to listen to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I'll take a deep dive into the biggest issues of the week and interview major players in the world of politics, like Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Beto O'Rourke, Eric Swalwell, Katie Porter, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.